Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome to Taiwan. Oh, what a beautiful evening here. It's about, let me see, I'm going to say 20, maybe 19 degrees C. How's everybody doing? MJ Klein here, your favorite streamer from Taiwan, hopefully. Gallardo, fist bump to you. How are you? Nice to see you. It's nighttime here, obviously, guys. You know, we're on this side of the world. I got just one little light over here. Sometimes I make a mistake and I'll put my arm out and, you know, Jan, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome from LA. Appreciate it. Fist bump to you too. And I think my sister might be watching too on YouTube. So, hey, DW, is that how you say? Yeah. Hey, it goes good, man. Fist bump to you too. All right, yes, going good, man. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you joining on Periscope. So we're broadcasting simultaneously on 4 platforms. We got. Actually, it looks like for some reason, oh, it's Dean. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, well, sorry, I'm not used to that. Not used to that username. That's cool. Thank you, Dean. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, longtime follower. My goodness. Okay, it's good to see you. Rare privilege to have you with us. Thank you so much. And yeah, my sister's name is Janet. What do you think about that? That's pretty cool, huh? It looks like Facebook didn't initialize tonight. I don't know why, but anyway, we're broadcasting on Periscope, on Twitch, and on YouTube, of course. And I can upload later to Facebook, which I'll probably do later, just to have it on there. And I'm also I also signed up for Rumble, but I want to make sure that people understand I'm not political, so I'm not on Rumble because it's political. Now I can't tell, but I got a green. It looks black, but it's actually a very, very dark, beautiful green from a Japanese company called Muji. And we have here in, it's actually Uniqlo, I'm sorry, from Uniqlo that we have here in Taiwan. And I got this jacket right before I went to Thailand at the beginning of this year, before we had all this stupid mess. I was joking around tonight in the the late night, because it's a late night show, in the late night line group that we have. For my followers and for all the other live streamers that you know and love that are all joining us there. I was joking about 2020 and I said, hey, that's Jan on on Periscope. That's funny. I said, I'll take things that never happened before 2020 for $100, Alex, because that's what it sounds like. So anyway, I'm going to take a cue from Chris Chappell and I'm going to do my 2021 disaster bingo card here with Affinity Designer probably in the next week. So you'll be hearing my 2021 disaster bingo. All right, so as I mentioned in the title, so I should do this. It's the Geminids. That's one of the big meteor showers of the year. Now, of course, I got this big light in my face. We had a bunch of clouds, and it's really strange because tonight was supposed to be very, very cloudy. And for those of you who have been following me for a long time, I talk about this on my live stream. I talked about it in the line group. But I took my daughter Phoenix, who just loves this stuff. Hey, Dave, how you doing? Fist bump to you. Man, it's late. Dave's a working man. It is like, okay, so it's like, my goodness. It's 1 a.m. in Japan. Dave's joining us. Thank you so much. So Dave, I want to talk to you about something. I have an idea for a contest. And I want you to be the prize. You. So I want to talk to you about that later. That'd be cool. That'd be fun. I just came up with this idea today. So, okay, working in the background. I mean, working with MJ in the background. That's the best way. By the way, I have a face for radio. So if you basically just want to turn off the video, that's like perfectly fine with me. You can just go like this and just okay. Right, that's just as fine, just as good. So, but anyway, for those of you who know me a long time, several in the last 2 years, because my daughter Phoenix has an interest in astronomy because her father does, and I introduced her to telescopes and binoculars and things like that, and I use the green laser, which is an amazing tool because the green laser you can point with a star, and it doesn't matter who in your circle is looking. They all see that you're pointing at that star. And if you've ever tried to use your finger and go, that star, it's impossible. So you get a green laser and you shine it on the star, and everybody can see very clearly what you're talking about. So I've used that to show her that, different stars. And even like one of her bus mates that rides with her is a very nice family, and the mother was out here, and she was talking with me, and I said, well, you know, that Phoenix had been talking about some astronomical stuff, and she said, what can you see? And I said, well, you see that red kind of looking planet? She said, that's Mars. She says, really? I said, yeah, and that's Jupiter, and that's Saturn. And like, I thought she was gonna drop her kid's backpack. So yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, if you go way back in Periscope history, I did show the ISS. Yeah, I've seen that here. I've seen the Hubble, which is really hard to see because it's teeny tiny. I laid on my back one night late and watched it. But for the last couple of years, you know, we've been taking Phoenix and hyped it up, because it turns out that, boy, you know, it was great. The peaks appeared like, you know, on Saturday night, so she could stay up because Sunday wasn't a school day. And we drive. I mean, I remember the last time it was heartbreaking, because you know, I keep telling her, after midnight the Earth, you know, turns, and then you know, it's the leading edge. You get more of the meteor shower, and the peak always happens after midnight. So we, you know, took a nap. We got up about 10 o'clock. We went to the 24-hour Moss Burger and got some food, you know, and put her in the car. She's all warm, and you know, we got hot tea, and Bob's got some coffee and stuff. It's crystal clear. We're going, wow, it's amazing. So I drove to a place. We're very close to the mountains, not high mountains, but like maybe 800 meters, something like that. You know, take about half an hour to get up there, and we got up to the top, and within 10 minutes, clouds come in, and we sat up there, and clouds. So we said, okay, well, let's go to this other place that we know down by the shore, because I'm looking and it looks a little clear, because you know the west is that way. So okay, so we drove down to the shore, and then we got there, and it got cloudy. So she never saw any meteors. And I remember she was in the car, sound asleep, and my wife and I were standing outside, and right in front of us there was like a dome of clouds, but right at the horizon was a thin line, and man, a big flash. And my wife said, that was one. And I said, yeah, that's what we're here to see. And could you imagine what that would have looked like if there weren't any clouds? It would have came from somewhere over there and just ripped across the sky. So my friend Jackson, who I think you guys, some of you guys have seen Jackson before. I introduced him one time. Jackson and his wife are in the mountains, and so it's pretty cold up there. But he said he saw like 60 in an hour. And I'm here. I got, you know, a Bing Long place over here, and a realtor that's got this sign flashing over here, like, you know, some emergency or something. On these, you can see this behind these. You see that? See this flashing light and stuff? Okay, I mean, that's how bright the neighborhood is. It's midnight here. This, you know, this is the neighborhood, right? It's all this light. Okay, I'm on the roof of my house. Look at this. And so what's going to happen is, in a few minutes, that realtor is going to, you know, they're trying to sell houses at midnight. Okay, that's what the sign is, you know, buy, right? See it? Look at it. See, look at that. It lights up the whole sky. So I have my Costco lounge chair up here, and Phoenix was, I laid back, and Phoenix laid right back on my chest. It was really cute. It was really sweet. And she's like, I think I saw one. So I saw like 4 or 5, but they're really, really dim, because we're only seeing, you know, the top brightest ones. We're not seeing, you know, any of the medium or low magnitude ones, because we're not anywhere, you know, where it's really, really dark. Should turn it off. I know, but what's going to happen is I'm going to have to go over there and sabotage it to get it to turn it off. They won't turn it off. And if you tell them, oh, I want to see some meteorites, you can't see meteorites in Taiwan. You have to go to America for that. That's the answer for everything here. So anyway, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see it. Let me see if I can just do this as a front camera. No, I really can't see, but there's, I got to block this light so I can see what's on the camera. Yeah, we got clouds all around. But if I go on, all right, let me go do this. The other thing too is this stupid monster. See that thing? That's my light. They built this monster across the street, and he's blocking my view of the mountains and everything. But if you look way up there, there's a couple stars, see? You can see a couple stars up there, see that? Here, let me just do this, and I'll try to see if I can block the, yeah. See? And you see some clouds up there? So, yeah, there are some stars. You know, you can see like some of the major ones up there. They're there. So, Capella's up there, and yeah. That's Orion right there. Yeah, forget it. I can't point to it. But that's a. Hey, Bella, how you doing? Nice to have you with us. All right. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that's Orion right up there. You know. So Gemini's just above that. So, you know, the center of the meteor shower is now beyond, you know, the meridian. So it looks like it may be kind of clearing up over there. So, Jeff, you can see. You have to be up high, and you have to be, you know, like in Nanto or like in the mountains. You can see the top of it. We're not that far south. We're 25 degrees. Of course, you know, when I was in Bali, you definitely could see it. But of course, Bali's a whole nother thing. Is light pollution is like crazy. But yeah. But Jeff, how you been, man? It's good to see you. It's been a long time. Fist bump to you too. All right, I love all this cross-platform jumping, man. It's great. And Bella, how are things with you? We're doing well here. You may find this of interest. Taiwan recently, starting December 1st, has implemented this new list of rules here that feature 8 different places that you're required now to wear a mask, which is, I think, good. And so we have well over 200 days of no local COVID-19 infection, and everything now is imported. But it's crazy because all these Indonesian workers are coming here, and every single one of them is sick. Every one. They're all coming in, and they're all, you know, they show up at the airport with a negative test, and then they test them at the airport and they're positive. So yeah, that's a good question, Bella. That's a really good question. Okay, good. That's actually good. When I was in Thailand, I got a couple bottles of that kind of Viper stuff. I think they call it Lao Khao in Thai. So just like a homemade rice liquor. It's not rice wine because it is distilled. And in Lao they call it Lao Lao. Or sometimes they'll just say Lao whiskey, which means whiskey. But I think it's Lao Khao in Thai. The language is very similar. And I bought 2 bottles. I gave them to my friend Tony as a factory up there in the mountains. And one of them has, and they use cobras from. They're actually, I believe they're the species they call the Chinese cobra. Because I did see one in the Savoy Resort, a baby one. He was just having fun, just scooting along. They're looking for rats in the rice field. If you don't get in their way, don't bother them. You'll never have any problem with those snakes. They're looking for rats in the rice field. But the one I gave them 2 bottles, and one of them had this monster spider in it with liquor. And I don't know if the spider was venomous or not, but it was like, you know, big as my hand. And then the other one had a cobra whose mouth was open. And I gotta find the pictures. I have the pictures. I took pictures of this, and I'll tell you what. I'll find them and I'll show them to you on the next broadcast. Now that I think about it, but the cobra had the tail of a scorpion in his mouth, and the scorpion's hanging down below, and it was really something. And I said, Tony, I got something for you, man, to put in your, you know. My connection is not choppy. It's a problem with Periscope. Yeah, it's okay on YouTube. We had this problem a week ago on Periscope, and I think it's by now a well-documented and well-known fact that Periscope is out of here. So, yeah, the place to watch is on YouTube or Twitch. Those are the platforms I think that are probably going to be the best. But I brought this liquor up to Tony, and I pulled it out of the bag, and he's like, "Eee," you know, it's pretty impressive. So, now that's stuff that Dave was drinking, right? Okay, well that's good. But you know, Jan, we had a couple of broadcasts ago, right? Yeah, Taiwan Live TV on Twitch. Right this second, I'm on Twitch. Yeah, I'm simultaneously broadcasting on 4 now. For some reason, I don't know why, Facebook did not initiate tonight. I've had that problem once before where for some reason Facebook Live did not start. I don't know why, but it's okay. To me, Facebook is like the TV in the bus station. It's on, and if somebody wants to watch it, that's okay. If they don't, that's okay. So, anyway, I just got to be honest. Facebook is just not that important to me. So, but I will upload this stream to Rumble later, and you guys can have at it. Now, before I go any further, I want to thank my sponsor because they've been very good to me, iVideo.com.tw, and we are on the roof of my home using the Wi-Fi battery bank. And this is a battery bank, and this thing lasts all day. It's 4G, and if you're interested, in the description box down below in YouTube or on the profile of the other platforms, you can get my 10% discount code. And these days, with everybody working at home, schooling at home, and all these things that, and meetings, virtual meetings that you would never have had before 2020, you need a backup. I can't tell you how many times that my home Wi-Fi has gone down, and I said, never mind, honey. I got my Wi-Fi box from iVideo.com and .tw, and it's just amazing. And so I just put it over by the window, and I got a Wi-Fi signal that actually propagates a couple of floors in my house. It's pretty amazing how this little box, how powerful it is. But they also have, if you browse their website, they also have a home Wi-Fi router that's based on 4G. And I think that is an excellent solution because there's no setup. You just plug in the power and you turn it on. And then in the front, it tells you the name of the network and the password. You just find it on your phone and you just enter the password. It couldn't be any easier. And they gave me one for 2 weeks, and I put it on the top floor of my house. And these places that I just showed you down here over this, I was walking all the way down there across the street, and I was getting signal out the window from the top floor of my house from that home Wi-Fi router. So it's a monster. Yeah, they're a really good company, and they've done well for me, and they've done well for my followers that have come to Taiwan in particular and want to use the service. And when I went to the States in 2018, they provided me with a T-Mobile box that was invaluable because, I had 2 flights got canceled. I was in the United States for a total of 4 days, and I had 2 flights got canceled. And, all my phone services are voice over IP. So if I didn't have Wi-Fi, if I didn't have internet, I would have been dead. I would have had to buy some kind of a card. I would have had to gone to some internet cafe or something like that and, tried to make it work. But as it was, I had an iVideo.com.tw device, and we had one when we went to Thailand too. So very, very convenient. Yeah. Yep. Just look in the description. Look in the description, and there's a URL and a code. That'd be the easiest way. Dean, how are you? Fist bump to you. I know you were saying hi today, but I just want to interrupt and say hi to you. So. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dave in Osaka, live from Greenland, and you're watching Taiwan Live TV with MJ Klein.
That is just the most amazing thing. Now I want to play something for you, but I got to explain it. So I'm going to explain it later. I'm going to explain it after. I'm going to play it for you now. It's a clip from the TV show Friends, and this clip features one of my tunes. So yeah, yes, Dave did one. Dave did an amazing bumper for me, And the thing is he was in Greenland. And it was a very expensive trip, and he's on a boat, and no, that's okay. Follow along with me, okay? Here's Dave. He's on a boat. He's in Greenland. It's cold, right? So he's got his knit hat on, and it's like there's seals, there's whales, there's probably narwhals, there's, you know, all this incredible, you know, in like Greenlandic people. And he sees these icebergs and he goes, my God, this is so beautiful. I gotta do a bumper for MJ. I mean, that's what makes that so. The truth is, when you visited Taiwan, I should have gave you a kiss, okay? Because that's what I owe you. I mean, it's like, that was incredible. I was like, so that's what makes that just, to me, like, I mean, he said, oh, he was like very nonchalant about it too. So, hey, Akshay, how you doing? This bump to you. Welcome to Taiwan. Dave's like, oh, I did a bumper for you. He sent it to me, and I'm like, if you could have seen me, those are, honey, look, these are ice. That's ice. It's a big sun. Those are icebergs, you know. So that was amazing. So like that was pretty crazy. Let me play that again. You can't have too much. Look at this.
Hi, this is Dave in Osaka, live from Greenland, and you're watching Taiwan Live TV with MJ Klein.
And you know, it wasn't like he just said Taiwan Live TV, you know? He mentioned my name. It's amazing. So, all right, now I want to play a clip from the show Friends, and it features one of my tunes that I wrote that I had released in 1995. But I got to make it clear, my tune did not appear in the original clip. This was done by the record company, distribution company that handles my songs. So I want to show this to you, and I want to explain it and / apologize, but let me show this again. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my mic to make the audio clear. So here you go. Here it is. This tune is called "Gotta Keep Dancing," and if you go to mjk.asia, you can listen to it all you want. mjk.asia. Anyway, so mic off. Here we go.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble. And there ain't no way. What you gonna do that honey make it through? You gotta keep dancing. You gotta keep dancing. What you gonna say? You gotta keep dancing.
Mic on. Okay, now before I take that down, look at the bottom. It says distrokid.com/Marcel. DistroKid is the distribution company and they're the record company of record for me on YouTube. If you do a search on recording artist MJK on YouTube, you will find a topic done by the record company. There's one song, it's that song. If you're interested in hearing it, you can hear it on YouTube. Recording artist MJK. I don't go by MJK because I go by MJK professionally, but I have been called recording artist MJK for so long because I'm not really a musician. I'm a recording artist. Just like, you know, there are actors and there are movie stars, right? So I can never be an actor. I could be a movie star. I could never be a musician, but I could be a recording artist. So there is a difference. I don't claim to be a musician. I'm a recording artist, so that means I'm good in the studio. Now the thing is I played this last week because it's kind of funny because it just so happens that the beat of the tune seems to kind of match the scene, and DistroKid did a very good job doing that. That's fully licensed, by the way, and I can play that anywhere that I want in the world, and there's no strikes. Of course, it's my song, but the video content has been fully licensed. Now, I have a relatively new viewer named Cliff who wrote to me on the last a comment on the last live stream, and he said he didn't know that I was involved in the TV show Friends. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I was not involved. I have never been involved in that TV show. I've done very, very little TV. Just a couple shows in the States, like local shows, and I've done a lot of radio. I've worked on one feature film by a major production company. I've done very little, only that one film, but very little, national TV. Worked a lot behind the scenes, like I was more likely to be involved like in fixing the radio stations, or like with Channel 7 in Boston. I repaired their Neve audio console because they had a big problem with their newscast. I'm the behind the scenes kind of guy. Marina, how you doing? Fist bump to you. Nice to have you with us. So I just want to make it clear that I was absolutely not involved in that TV show, but that's a fun clip, and I'm allowed to play it because it's been fully licensed. Now, the thing is, if you go to distrokid.com, excuse me, and you're one of the artists, right? So, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess, when that show aired, I did, kind of look like that. My hair was lighter and stuff, but it would be like now today's, the name of the show would be Over the Hill. That's what the name of the show would be today. So my wife likes that show, but I never liked it. I told her one day, I said, if I had friends like those people, I would move and I wouldn't tell them. That's what I would do. So, Manor, how are things in Texas? Must be nice and warm, relatively speaking. I told my wife today, I said, if I ever had to move back to the United States for whatever crazy reason, I think I wouldn't mind taking a look at Texas, because it's cool, and everybody I know from Texas is cool, and that's a true statement. Everybody I have ever met from Texas was cool. Excellent. Well, good to hear that. All right. Yeah, not my friends. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff that they used to do, I mean, the superficiality of that show was just, to me, but I guess it kind of, yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a generation gap. Yes, there is. But, you can overcome it if you have common interests. But if you don't, there's no getting around it. No getting around it. 'Cause you guys have seen me interact with, other live streamers like Jevons and Casper. These guys are like, 20, 30, 40 years younger than me. That doesn't matter because we're all live streamers and stuff, But you got to have some kind of a common interest, right? Seriously, it has to be. And the other thing, too, is one of the things that you can't be, and I'm going to tell you guys, one of the people in my life that I have some of the heaviest conversations with is our pal Dave in Osaka, because we have routine contact. Several times a week we send messages on the line, hey, how you doing, what's going on? And we have some pretty heavy discussions, and sometimes they're on the edge of I would say, like on the edge of being heated, because we're passionate about things. But here's the thing, and this is a piece of advice that I want to give you because I'm older and it took me a while to learn this. I guess the phrase, it comes from legalese, and I fortunately had an opportunity to spend quite a bit of time in my youth as a recording artist dealing with lawyers, okay? And they talk about being unreasonably withheld. And what they're talking about is with your own opinion. That just means that you shouldn't be so staunchly withheld or holding on to this opinion that you can't make room for another viewpoint. And that really is very, very important, because if you don't learn to do that, you won't have any friends. But also the benefit of that is that allows you to objectively look at other viewpoints. And I'm going to tell you right now, there have been situations where Dave has changed my mind on something, or he has shown me, for example, a different way of viewing something. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, thanks. I appreciate that. And seriously, isn't that what we have friends for? We have friends, our friends are supposed to gently kind of like, oh, I see. Just like, if you know, if you've ever had a friend that's physically blind, well, you wouldn't let them walk into something, would you? I said, come over, well, put your hand right here on my shoulder. Yes, okay, we're going to go over here, okay? All right, now watch out, there's some gravel. Okay, now watch out, there's a step there. That's what we do, right? So, thank you, Dave. All right, now, looking at the sky, I gotta hide my eyes from this light for a second. Oh, you know what? It is clearing up. Oh my goodness. And we are, oh, it's even darker than it was. Oh my goodness, this whole section over here, from the east to the south, over to the, oh my goodness, to the southwest, that whole part of the hemisphere. Oh, oh my goodness, I can see the Orion Nebula. It's really, really gotten dark. Hey, Rob, fist bump to you. Nice to have you with us. Always good to see you. Hey, Rob, I was going to ask you a question because I wanted to mention this to you. I wanted to ask you, it's been a while. Are you still enjoying that Glendronach whiskey? Remember the one that I recommended a long time ago? Now, this is something that you have to... Hey, Taiwan, how you doing? All right. Haven't had you here for a while. How you doing? Ni hao, ni hao. All right. I recognize something. Oh, excellent. Excellent. I recognize that, you know, a lot of you pay attention to what I say. I don't want to use the word influencer. That's a dumb word. That's stupid. That sounds like egotistical. But I understand that, like, if I review something and I say, wow, I really like this, I know some of you will go out and buy something that I recommend, like whiskey, right? And so I was doing the review and talking about this Glendronach, the 12-year, which is a red label. And that's in Taiwan. There's something about in the world ranking of whiskeys. Hey, Janet, how you doing? That's my sister, everybody. Crystal Lake, and that's a beautiful place. I'm gonna give my sister a fist bump. How you doing? Nice to have you with us. Oh, I gotta tell you something. I'll get back to that in a second. I had a voice call with my sister before I did this stream. She's watching my live stream on her refrigerator because her fridge has an Android display in it. Her fridge is Android. She showed me the YouTube app. It's amazing. I called her using line. It was hilarious. So anyway, due to the whiskey ranking, in other words, how much whiskey is consumed in Taiwan, you know, compared to the rest of the world, I read this. I'm going to say I think Taiwan is like 6th in the world for the whiskey consumption. It's really high. It's amazing. And so, but due to the scale of economy, you know, unless you travel around, you might not realize this. But you know, one of the things I liked about going to Thailand was I could get a bottle of Suntory whiskey for dirt cheap. That would be super expensive here in Taiwan, but even more expensive over in the States. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. See, my sister calls me Mike. Her husband's Mike. There's too many Mikes, so I go by That's why I go by MJ, because everybody knows my name is Michael, right? But I'll go by it. So, but that's funny. Yeah. I had a telescope when I was young. My dad, gosh, I have 3 floating topics, okay? I got to keep track of them. This is actually good for my 65-year-old brain to keep it active. My next door neighbor, Billy Young, our next door neighbor, my sister and I, introduced me to astronomy when I was young, and he had a telescope, and I really, really liked it. And then my parents got divorced when I was 10 in 1966. I was born in 56. And about a year and a half later, I moved with my father. He lived in the Richmond area of Virginia. And so, Ken, how you doing? All right. Fist bump to you. My dad was a Honeywell engineer, and Honeywell had a cooperation with Asahi Pentax in Japan. And so all my dad's cool friends had Asahi cameras. My dad didn't. My dad wasn't into photography. But all his friends taught me black and white photography. I learned how to develop film from my dad's cool friends. They were talking about generations and stuff, right? Well, these guys were like, between maybe 10 years younger than my dad and maybe a little older than my dad. Okay, it's a pretty good range. And so they put together like some old stuff that they had around the house that they weren't using anymore, and all of a sudden I had a dark room by the time I was 17 years old. I had a dark room because we moved around different parts of the country, and I just acquired this stuff, right? But anyway, when I was about 13, my dad had a surprise for me, and when I had come to visit him, and subsequently had ended up staying and moving there with him. And I must admit, my memory's not exactly like linear. I realize I probably don't remember a couple of things correctly, but here's the hook. My dad gave me an Asahi Pentax telescope, and it was 60 millimeters diameter. It's pretty good size. It was a refractor, and I used it up until the time that my storage company, where I had my stuff stored in the States, failed to notify me there was a problem with the payments, and they sold everything at auction without notifying me. I should have sued them because they did me wrong, but some things you just gotta let go. So I don't have that anymore, or the gold watch my grandfather had, so that's another story. Okay, now getting back to number 2. About the whiskey. So I was talking about this Glendronach 12-year-old Scotch and how good it was, but in Taiwan it's $30. And so what I was saying before about Thailand, some of the whiskeys, actually that's number 2. Yeah, the Thailand stuff, like unless you travel around, you may not realize that like major brands like Johnny Walker that are very expensive in the United States are dirt cheap in Thailand and sort of an intermediate price in Taiwan. It's due to the scale of economy. See, here in Taiwan, you can rent a 4-story home, like with 4 bedrooms, for like $600 a month. And that's considered a little high. You can negotiate it down to $500 a month. And it'll probably include internet. There'll be Wi-Fi throughout the house. It's pretty amazing. And so people just won't pay $100 for something that they don't perceive to be worth it. But Taiwanese are very rich. Sometimes they'll overspend just to show how rich they are. But in whiskey, it's really strange because whiskey is very cheap here, but it's even cheaper in Thailand. So I was drinking Suntory Red. I was drinking all kinds of Suntory products for like $20 a bottle, or even $10 a bottle. Some of these 300 to 600 baht roughly, and so between $10 and $20, and it was amazing how these high quality whiskeys I was drinking. So one time, going back to topic number 1 that was floating, I was talking about this whiskey, and Rob said that he was going to go buy a bottle and try it, and then he wrote back to me on the Line app that he went to the local liquor store and he paid $75 for a bottle of whiskey, $75 US for a bottle of whiskey that I recommended on a live stream. And I'm looking at my phone, I'm going, what do you think? I'm typing in, what do you think? Do you like it? What do you think? And he writes back, he says, it's worth every drop, every penny. I'm like, whew. Yeah, so influencer's life isn't all that you think. Because if you influence people to buy something and they don't like it, guess who they're gonna blame? That's pointing at me. That's not pointing at you. It's pointing at me. Because I'm looking at myself. It's going, You see what I mean? See what I did there? So yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm going to continue to tell you guys what I think. And, you know, the more that you know me, you know what my tastes are and my abilities to discern flavors and things, whatever they are, you know, and you can check them out. But there's enough other people that you have seen here in Taiwan with me, like, you know, like Dave, like Casper, and quite a number of others, and we can all sort of come to a, you know, consensus. Now, Casper was here the other day, right? You guys probably saw Casper's scope from my studio. He had the camera reversed though, because I was playing guitar, but I looked like a lefty. That's okay. But one thing that you didn't know that we did before we went live, and I'm just going to check the sky again. Oh my goodness, it is even more clear. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait till later. I'm going to stay up all night. I just know I am. Yeah, because it's 12:34 midnight. So we're just cresting. You know, the reason that you know, when the Earth turns, obviously, and when it turns, and when like the spot that you're standing on, when it goes around and you're suddenly on the leading edge as the Earth is, you know, orbiting the sun, then you're going into the meteor storm. So that's why after midnight it always gets better. So anyway, we're talking about so many different things. I'm just gonna take a break for a second. So how are you guys doing? And I wish, dirt in my glasses. I wish I could get those voice messages that we used to get on broadcast years ago. Remember that? I was talking with Dave about that. The voice messages were fantastic. Now I don't have my other device to do Skype, and part of the reason too is because even though this is a busy neighborhood, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of cars and stuff, but there are people over here trying to sleep, and I don't want to play this stuff on a speaker. It's bad enough that I'm out here yakking and getting all animated and stuff and talking loud, but I did want to show that one thing about the mast, and of course everybody knows that we had this big earthquake here the other night, and where I live, everything was either a 3 or a 4, and I lived in the 4 zone, and I didn't actually mark it, but we are in the northwest part of Taiwan, and that's when we had that this little thing here, this little video. Really big, really long earthquake. Yep, really big and really long duration. Yeah, so thank you. We are. You know, it's funny because my daughter was kind of scared, and she says, "Well, let me show you what we do at school," and she dove under the table. And so a few people were asking us, "You guys okay?" I said, "Yeah, we're Taiwanese." You know, 30 seconds later, we forgot all about it. So there you go. Dave, you said hello, Ethiopia. Is that where you said he's from? Let me go back here and look at this. Let me see this. Oh, is that what that is? Addis Ababa. Yeah, okay. Must be vacation. Ethiopia, wow. Yeah. There you go. That's a little more exotic than Taiwan. So, anyway, how about you guys? This reminds me of an old joke. After somebody talks about themselves for an hour, they go, "Look, that's enough about me. That's enough about me. So, what do you think about me?" Sometimes I feel like that. But, you know, when you have a live stream, if you don't, no, I don't want to become famous, and I'm going to tell you something right now. Click.ru. See this? See this? This is Russian interference. See this? This is Russian interference. Now I can't, there's nothing I can do here except, oh, actually, I can ban them. How about that? Yes, I do. And this one, oh, and this one, oh, look at this. I can ban them. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. That's what you get. But what I do is I report every one of those. Because, you know, goodness gracious, we don't need any more corruption or fraud in numbers anywhere in the world, do we, guys? No, we're done with fraud and corruption, aren't we? Yeah, let me tell you something. What would I do with 20,000 Twitch followers, or 50,000, or 100,000? Let's say I had 500,000 Twitch followers. What would I do with them? So I go down here to Mossburgers and I go, hey, yes, you can. I just did. You saw me do it. And I can, like with the Periscope is the only one I can't do anything with. Okay, let me show you. I'm going to click on your comment, and here's what it says that I can do with your comment. It says I can pick comment, which is where I slide it off to the side. I can delete it. I can give you a timeout. I can hide it. I can remove you as a moderator. I can press cancel and press cancel. Now, here's what I got with Periscope, because Periscope is least supported. Pick comment or cancel. That's it. I can't even delete it. Somebody, you know, maybe I shouldn't say this, but somebody could say something really nasty on Periscope, and I can't delete it. Now, let me do this. Just for example, I mean, because you asked this, but I'll show you this live. This comment that you just made, I don't have to ban you or anything, but I'll just delete it. I'll just show you so it looks like. I'm going to delete the comment. And it's asking me, are you sure you want to delete the comment? Yes. Okay. And it's gone. And right there in the stream, it's gone. And I didn't have to ban you or anything, but I can give YouTube users and Twitch users, you know, I can ban them and timeouts and all that stuff. So maybe I should just turn off Periscope. I mean, yeah. So there it is. I just did that for a demonstration. So there you go. I think that, to be honest with you, I think it's very impressive integration with Prism. It's really quite amazing. But I'm okay. So I'm going to pay money. I'm going to buy 500,000 Twitch followers because I got the money. I'm just gonna buy 500,000 Twitch followers. So what do? I go to McDonald's and I go, hey, yeah, I got 500,000, 500K, man, Twitch followers. How about a free meal? What do you think? What do you think? So what do you think? Go to the gas station. Yeah, fill her up. You know, I got 500,000 Twitch followers. What do you think about that, huh? Yeah. How about some, yeah. What do you think's going to happen? Like we used to say, my 500,000 Twitch followers and $3 will get me a coffee at Starbucks. Right? Want to be famous? I've been famous. What you're really asking is, do I want to pay you money? Oh my goodness, it is so clear. It is unbelievably clear. Phoenix is not going to believe this. And we're going to have more and more meteors as the night progresses. Sorry, I'm looking up and I'm not paying attention to you. I'm sorry. I'm just really psyched about the meteors tonight, you know. It's the Geminids. Now, 3 weeks from now, there's going to be another one. They call them the pronunciation is the Draconids, I think. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, 3 weeks from now, the same deal. It's going to be the peak is going to be a Sunday night to Monday morning, just like now, because it's Sunday night here, and I know in the States it's Sunday morning. And in Europe it's Sunday afternoon, but it's Sunday night here in Asia, and so the same deal is going to happen in 3 weeks, just after the first of the year. I believe it's January 2nd. So there's going to be another major, big time, super high density meteor shower. Now, for those of you in the United States, this is great because it's the afternoon or the morning for you, it's the morning for you, and then you got all day to plan your evening. And if you're fortunate to live in a place where it's nice and clear, especially if you're in the northern latitudes where it can be very dry and you can just see forever, right? Plan it for tonight. Take your sleeping bag, take your little camping heater and take your air mattress and make sure, you got batteries for your flashlight and stuff. But drive away from the city. And I'm going to tell you that you're going to see something that you won't believe. And send me pictures, please. You can always find me. The easiest way to find me is right here. You can always send me a message here at late night at TaiwanLive.tv. Send me pictures, man, and I will put them on my stream. If you get some pictures of these meteors, or even you and your family having fun looking at meteors, man, send them to me. I'd love to have them. It'd be fantastic. It would make my year if you would do that. But I got to tell you, there's nothing like that, because we had, before I left the United States and permanently emigrated to Taiwan, we had that wonderful evening in New Hampshire, and I will never forget that, because I fell asleep under a meteor shower, and it was phenomenal. And this shower in particular is a relatively new one compared to like the Leonids, which were discovered, considerably longer ago than the Geminids. And it turns out that astronomers realize that every year the Geminids are actually getting more and more dense. So for years they were saying at the peak it would be around 120 meters per hour. Now they're saying it can be as high as 160 or 180 per hour, and it depends on simply the magnitude of the ambient light. Now think about this in terms of sound. If you're in a loud room, like you're in the bus station, yeah, we wish with COVID-19, or a loud restaurant, and somebody across the table is trying to talk to you, sometimes the only things you can hear are the peaks, the very high amplitude signals, the levels that are higher. And that's the same thing with trying to look at meteors with light pollution. If the light pollution is very high, you're only going to see the top magnitude, the brightest of the meteors. And so instead of seeing 120 or 140 or 60 or 80 an hour, you're going to see 10 an hour, because those are the top 10. So get as far away from the city as you possibly can reasonably, and I promise you, you have never seen anything like this. And it's really true. The greatest things in life are free. Chat on the screen, really? Well, it's okay for me. You can turn it. Okay, so you're watching on hey Matthew, how you doing? Nice to have you with us. Fist bump to you. I'm hearing something that sounds like thunder, but it can't be. There's no clouds. What is that? Okay. Actually, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I suggest that, the problem is, okay, if you want to chat, you have to press the live chat, box, the button. But if you don't want to open that up, then you won't see the scrolling chat, in the app. You can just watch it on the screen. If you don't, want to, I would love it if you would participate, but you see what I'm saying, yeah. That was very strange, that sound. It sounded like thunder, but it's not. Of course, behind me, I think you guys can see there's the, what we call, in Chinese we call the sui ta. Those are my stainless steel water tanks, and over here is my neighbor's water tanks over here, so. XD, how you doing? Peak, okay. Peak, yes. Here in Taiwan, we were actually a lot of clouds, yeah. Well, here in Taiwan, we're actually at the peak now because Taiwan is a single time zone, and it is now the local time here is 0048, so it's 48 minutes after midnight. So yeah, we're actually past midnight, so we're gonna hit the peak real soon. It's gonna be quite amazing. And so I got my lounge chair, and I'm just gonna go downstairs and fill my water bottle, and I'm gonna come back up here, and I think I'm gonna stay up all night. Haven't done that for a while, but there you go. So yeah, that was a big problem here. Now I showed this a little while ago. A little while ago I showed that there were some going on, but now look at this. You see this? This has since cleared up. You see this, guys? This is all clear sky. Look at this. This is amazing. I'm just going to let this sit here for a second and see if I'll just block this camera. You see this? This is all clear sky up here. There's no clouds anywhere. See the stars? Yep. And so it has, and even if you look behind me, see there's no more white back there like there used to be. I can see stars near the horizon that I couldn't see an hour ago. So yeah, I understand. Where are you at, XD? Where are you viewing from? And welcome to Taiwan Live TV. And by the way, just so you guys know, sometimes you're on the road and you don't want to mess around with your app too much, and you don't want to mess around and try to find, you know I'm on, but you don't want to, oh cool, okay, yeah, okay, so you're in Europe. Well, you got a couple hours, and so until it's going to be nighttime. But if it clears out, I mean, between now and then, I think you're going to have a nice surprise, because this is a big meteor shower. But what I wanted to say is if you know that I'm on and you're out somewhere and you don't want to mess with the app, just use your web browser and go to TaiwanLive.tv, because as soon as we go live, right at the top of TaiwanLive.tv, boom, there we are. And if you're in your browser and you decide that you would like to join us and you would like to chat, then all you got to do is click on that, and it will take you to YouTube. If you're on your mobile device, it'll open the YouTube mobile app, and if you're on a like a PC, then it'll open YouTube in a browser window, and you can just sign in, and there you go. Probably already are signed in, so there you go. That may ultimately be the easiest way. Chilling in Belgium. Yeah, you guys got some great beer, Belgian purity laws on beer are incredible. And we have some, well, not some, we got hundreds of Belgian beers here in Taiwan, and they're all excellent. They're all really amazing. So, no, it's true. Schloss? Was it Eggberg? Anyway, yeah, a friend of mine was the was the distributor for those beers. So he's 15. Okay, well, there's no rush. There's no rush. No rush to, So, yeah, thank you for joining. I appreciate it, man. So I'm 50 years older than you. My goodness. Okay, well, that's cool. Yep, I hang out with people of all ages because I find that I can learn from anybody. Since I was a young kid, a young boy, because as I had explained earlier on my stream, and unfortunately you weren't here. That's okay. My next door neighbor, he died when I was 16. He was 22. So 16 was that 6 years older than me, right? And so when you're young, when somebody's 10 and they're 16, that's a huge difference, But he was a mentor to me in a lot of ways, in like science fiction. He was like a cartoonist, science fiction, drawing and things like that. And so, yeah, okay, we have that beer. That's a very nice beer that we have here in Taiwan. Yeah, Stella Artosis. Yes, and I've often wondered, is Stella blonde, brunette, or redhead? Amazing. So, yeah, that's a nice beer. And so, XD, to answer your question, ever since I can remember, because he inculcated an interest in astronomy, and I distinctly remember, after my dad bought me the telescope, I had this telescope up until like about the year 2004. I had it a long time, and I remember the Mars occlusion, and it was 1970, I think it was. 1970? Yeah. No, wait a minute. Hang on. 72. And I used my telescope for that. And the telescope was very good because I did some drawings of the planet, and it was quite amazing. Yep. It's almost completely clear. Almost completely clear. I did see Hale Bob. I took a trip to New York. I had a Jeep, and I blew the engine. And I was on one of the Jeep, what do you call it? The bulletin boards, back then, right? The forums is what I'm trying to say. One of the Jeep chat forums. And there's a guy in New York. He's a young guy, and he'd put a Chevy 350 in his Jeep, and so the inline I6 he had sitting aside, and he wanted to sell it. And so my friend Fran had a pickup truck, and we drove to rural New York State and got this engine. And I got to tell you, the whole time that we were out in rural New York State and it was pitch dark, Hale Bob, it makes you believe in God. Let me tell you, it was just, and had like a split tail, like half of it was like this. It was phenomenal. I can still see it in my mind. It's you never forget that. Yeah, I believe that Japan does make the best optical glass. I agree. And optical glass is big here in Taiwan. People buy glasses, with the Hoya lenses. Not to mention the Nikon, So, yeah. When I was a kid, I was astonished at how much my little 60 millimeters, is about this big, right? My 60 millimeter refractor, telescope could just, hey, how's it going? C squared, how's it going? Oh, I see. Yep. You mean why did they make the best glass? Are you asking? Well, I think. I was going to say I was astonished at how much I could. Okay. Take care. Take care, XD. Thank you. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Fist bump to you. Yeah. You're going to see him. My wife came up. She's standing over here. Yeah, you're going to see him because they're. It's after midnight, and so we're headed towards the. Let's wait a little while, because after it gets closer to dawn, it'll get even better. So I'm going to sign off pretty soon because I'm going to watch these. We're going to watch these together. Rob, I think it's because of the meticulous approach. I just think that it's something that their scientists have devoted a considerable amount of study and engineering to. And there are many examples of that around the world. Different countries that kind of specialize in different things, and I think that that's just something that they're very I know because I studied Japanese manufacturing practices in the States, and they're very meticulous about data and adherence to procedures, and so I just think that's that's the case. So not here, I mean on the stream, but yeah, Yeah, you can. So take care, Ken. Thanks for joining us in the car. Appreciate it. And so I'm going to sign off, man. I've been on for over an hour, and it's time to look at some meteors. Let me just do this real quick. A rear camera, and you can see how clear it is. Even with this little phone, you can see it is so clear, even though we are in Taiwan. So, and my wife's up here. She just said that she saw one of them. So I want to turn the light off. I got my light on over here. I'm going to turn that off and get my eyes acclimated. I got my lounge chair. I'm going to recline it and sit back, and we're going to take a look at some meteors. You guys take care. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next time on Taiwan Live TV. Take care. Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Rob, Matthew, Ken, Dave, everybody. Thanks so much. Fist bump to all you guys. Take care. You know what's coming next. Bye-bye. Fantastic.